About 12 years ago, I discovered a treasure trove of ancient storyboards deep within the bowels of Bungie.net. They were clearly created in the early development of Halo Combat Evolved's narrative, depicting some wildly different character designs and some entirely unfamiliar events. Unfortunately, they were incomprehensible. The pages themselves were out of order and the panels didn't feature a single line of dialogue. Luckily, saving the images revealed their file names, which were properly labeled and, when alphabetized, put the boards in sequential order, but that's only step one. In order to turn these boards into an intelligible animatic, you'd have to align each of the panels with the game's raw audio files to determine which line of dialogue went where and how the scene was paced. Then you'd have to simulate the camera movement specified in the scene directions and add in the correct ambient sounds, sound effects, and music score, then individually mask out a large number of objects and have them replicate their intended movements. Before finally having to create an animated cartoon version of yourself to explain it all. All of this was necessary. So I was like, screw that! It's 2008, and I'm in middle school. Some other loser will handle that. A dozen years down the road, and not only has some other loser not handled that, it appears that the Halo community at large has no idea that these boards even exist. So I decided to bite the bullet and do it myself. A brief couple notes before we get started. Since the storyboards themselves don't feature the corresponding lines of dialogue and only rarely allude to when a given character is speaking, my placement of recorded audio largely consists of educated guesswork. Many of the earlier cutscenes seem to follow the script of the final release pretty closely, so this isn't much of an issue. However, later scenes begin to diverge considerably from the version released in 2001. For areas where no analogous dialogue exists, I've reversed the audio of the character from other scenes and added a subtitle speculating on what the content of this dialogue may have been. On the visual side, I was largely able to replicate the intended camera movements well enough for it not to necessitate an explanation. But for particularly involved camera movements or actions that don't read well in this format, I'll add a subtitle explaining what's happening. Because I didn't want this video to be any longer than it needed to be, I've written out a list of scene-specific notes before and after each of the reconstructions to add additional information or context to the cutscenes. They only stay on screen for a few seconds, so pause the video if you're interested in reading them. Ignore them if you're not. And now, without any further ado, let us begin with the very first cutscene in the very first level, here simply labeled X10.
Cortana, all I need to know is, did we lose them?
I think we both know the answer to that.
We made a blind jump. How did they...
Get here first? The Covenant ships have always been faster. As for tracking us all the way from Reach, at light speed my maneuvering options were limited.
We were running dark, yes?
Until we decelerated, no one could have missed the hole we tore in subspace. They were waiting for us on the far side of the planet.
So, where do we stand?
Our fighters are mopping up the last of their recon picket now, nothing serious. But I've isolated approach signatures for multiple CCS-class battle groups. Make it 3 capital ships per group. And in about 90 seconds, they'll be all over us.
Well, that's it then. Bring the ship back up to Combat Alert Alpha. I want everyone at their stations.
Everyone, sir?
Everyone. And Cortana.
Hmm?
Let's give our old friends a warm welcome.
I've already begun.
Attention, all combat personnel. Please report to your action stations. 5th Platoon, secure airlocks on Deck 11.
You heard the lady. Move like you got a purpose.
This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill.
Man, we let those dumb bugs out to the middle of nowhere to keep them from getting their filthy claws on Earth. But we stumbled onto something they're so hot for that they're scrambling over each other to get it. Well, I don't care if it's God's own anti-son-of-a-bitch machine or a giant hula hoop. We're not gonna let them have it. What we will let them have is a belly full of lead and a pool of their own blood to drown in. Am I right, Marines?
Sir, yes, sir!
Damn right I am. Now move it out. Double time.
14th Platoon, rendezvous with 22nd Tactical at Bulkhead Charlie 14. Attention all personnel. We are re-engaging the enemy. External and internal contact imminent.
All you greenhorns who wanted to see Covenant up close, this is gonna be your lucky day.
Sir? Right. Let's thaw him out. Okay. Bringing low-level systems online. Cracking the case in 30 seconds. He's hot! Blowing the pins in 5!
The second boarded cutscene is labeled X20. This is the cutscene that plays at the midpoint of the first level, when the Master Chief arrives at the Pillar of Autumn's bridge.
Whoa. Hey, look!
A Mach 5!
Oh, he's taller than I thought.
And better looking, too.
Whoa. There he is! What the? I knew there was one on board.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Captain Keyes.
Good to see you, Master Chief. Things aren't going well. Cortana did her best, but we never really had a chance.
A dozen Covenant superior battleships against a single Halcyon-class cruiser. With those odds, I'm content with 3... Make that 4 kills. Sleep well?
No thanks to your driving, yes.
Report.
It must have been one of their boarding parties. I'd guess an antimatter charge.
Ma'am! Fire control for the main cannon is offline!
Captain, the cannon was my last offensive option.
All right, then. I'm initiating Cold Protocol Article 2. We're abandoning the Autumn. That means you too, Cortana.
While you do what? Go down with the ship?
In a manner of speaking. The object we found, I'm gonna try and land the Autumn on it.
With all due respect, sir, this war has enough dead heroes.
I appreciate your concern, Cortana, but it's not up to me. Protocol is clear. Destruction or capture of a shipboard AI is absolutely unacceptable, and that means you're leaving ship. Lock in a selection of emergency landing zones, upload them to my neural lace, and then sort yourself for a heart transfer.
Aye, aye, sir.
Which is where you come in, Chief. Get Cortana off this ship. Keep her safe from the enemy. If they capture her, they'll learn everything. Force deployment, weapons research, Earth.
I understand.
The Autumn will continue evasive maneuvers until you initiate a landing sequence. Not that you'll listen, but I'd suggest letting my subroutines handle the final approach.
Excellent work, Cortana. Thank you. Are you ready?
Yank me.
Good luck, Master Chief. I don't keep it loaded, son. You'll have to find ammo as you go.
The following cutscene, X30, marks the conclusion of the first level, when the Master Chief arrives at a lifeboat.
Oh no! Oh no! Ah!
Now would be a very good time to leave.
Punch it.
Ah, sir. We're disengaged, going for minimum safe distance.
We're gonna make it, aren't we, sir? I don't want to die out here.
Look!
What is that thing, Lieutenant?
Hell if I know, but we're landing on it.
Get on him! She's been hit!
Knew it! The Autumn's accelerating. Keys is going in manual.
Heads up, everyone, this is it. We're entering the ring's atmosphere in 5.
Sure you wouldn't rather take a seat?
We'll be fine.
If I still had fingers, they'd be crossed.
Okay, so the next cutscene in-game is the lifeboat crashing into the ring, but this scene isn't present in the storyboards. It appears Bungie made a distinction between major cutscenes and minor ones, and befitting these roles, only major cutscenes receive storyboards and designated folders in the game's audio files. Otherwise, the cutscenes lines are simply included with the rest of the level's in-game dialogue.
Damn! Air brake failure! They blew too early!
This cave is not a natural formation.
All cutscenes in the final release that follow X30 are considered minor until the reveal of the Flood 5 levels later in a cutscene labeled X50. You may notice that not only is that a sizable jump between major cutscenes, there's also no scene X40. But there used to be. The following cutscene is a literal cutscene from the final release of Halo Combat Evolved, taking place between the Truth and Reconciliation and the Silent Cartographer. I obviously didn't have any of the lines of dialogue for this scene, so I apologize in advance for all auxiliary information is, as usual, included on these pre-animatic slides. Read them to learn my reasoning as to why I believe the dialogue is what I suggest in the subtitles.
You're right in early there, Hirsch. Gemini in my face, sir.
Where's Nickel left neck? South and lost.
Störs ears and about them out, but off. Herfs näst gar auf lässt sich los nennen. Sehr Laura nebet mit dol. Ich gewie los nehmen en lobet pasken ay dol. Heel salach gedor. Mis balans dat van as toch nurse en de kurs is shift. Störs ears and about them out, but off.
Er das los nicht das kann nicht auch wie wow ist.
Whoa.
Wasn't there Flora Vixen? West look at all blocking it is in the man. Fish name a good girl. Laura never met done. There's next gar of flesh so snen. There's ears in about them out but off. Ik gives for an amman, no shit, sit no we're right away.
Sarvola, je let's nick us see and say smith and ik if knock you read the salad man.
Say, God, in a rue. I should give you lotion in and a little bit paskin I little spazzy I get off fish verse back got in the skirts.
There's nothing now for you blue.
And now we move back to an existing cutscene. X50 is the cutscene that plays midway through the level 343 Guilty Spark, and marks the introduction of our favorite parasitic space fungus.
Why do we always have to listen to this old stuff, Sarge?
Watch your mouth, son. This stuff is your history. It should remind you grunts what we're fighting to protect.
Hey, if the Covenant want to wipe out this particular part of my history, that's fine by me.
Yeah, better it than us.
You ask them real nice next time you see him, Vicente. I'm sure they'll be happy to oblige. Go, go! Hit 'em, Marines! Go, go, go! The Corps ain't paying us by the hour! Stay close, Jenkins! Mendoza, move it up! Wait here for the captain and his squad, then get your ass inside.
Sir!
Okay, let's move!
Which is weird, right? I mean, look at it. Something scrambled the insides.
What's that? Plasma scoring?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there was an accident, you know, friendly fire or something?
What do we have, Sergeant?
Looks like a Covenant patrol. Badass elite units. All KIA.
Real pretty. Friend of yours?
Nah, we just met.
What's going on, soldier?
Corporal! Do you copy? Over! Mendoza, get your ass back up to 2nd Squad's position and find out what the hell is going on.
But...
I don't have time for your lip, soldier! I gave you an order!
But Sarge! Listen!
What is that?
Where's that coming from, Mendoza?
Everywhere. I don't... There! Get up!
Let him have it!
There are too many, Sarge!
Don't even think about it, Marine.
Sergeant, we're surrounded!
Get out! Get it out! Hold still! Hold still! Oh, this is local!
Get back here, Marine! That's an order!
Jenkins!
The next scene, X60, is the introduction to the level 2 Betrayals, where the Chief finally learns the true function of the ring. It's been a long-standing mystery in the Halo community as to why this level is called 2 Betrayals. The introduction to this level as it exists in its final state doesn't feature 2 betrayals, just one misunderstanding. Guilty Spark clearly believes that the Chief knows the function of the ring, but in reality, he doesn't. So, what's with the name? Having reconstructed this sequence, I can now confidently tell you that this cutscene in this earlier form used to play out almost exactly the same. I still have no idea why it's called 2 Betrayals. What is substantially different, though, is the design of 343 Guilty Spark. In this version, he's actually depicted as a literal goddamn caveman. I'm joking, that'd be stupid. So stupid. So stupid. But seriously though, he actually does look quite different. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling. I'll just let you watch the thing.
We must continue. This way, please. The small creatures carry spores that cause a host to mutate, which means that any organism with sufficient mass and cognitive capability is a potential vector. Is something wrong?
No, nothing.
Splendid, shall we? Unfortunately, my usefulness to this particular endeavor has come to an end. Protocol does not allow units with my classification to perform a task as important as the reunification of the index with the core. That final step is reserved for you, Reclaimer. That wasn't supposed to happen.
Oh, really?
Cortana.
I've spent the last 12 hours cooped up in here watching you toady about, helping that thing get set to slit our throats.
Hold on now. He's a friend.
Oh, I didn't realize. He's your pal, is he? Your chum? Do you have any idea what that bastard almost made you do?
Yes. Activate Halo's defenses and destroy the Flood, which is why we brought the Index to the control center.
You mean this?
A construct in the core? That is absolutely unacceptable.
Sod off!
What impertinence! I shall purge you at once!
You sure that's a good idea?
Enough! The Flood is spreading. If we activate Halo's defenses, we can wipe them out.
You have no idea how this ring works, do you? Why the Forerunners built it? Halo doesn't kill Flood, it kills their food. The only way to stop the Flood is to starve them to death. And that's exactly what Halo is designed to do, wipe the galaxy clean of all sentient life. You don't believe me? Ask him.
Is it true?
More or less. Technically, this installation's pulse has a maximum effective radius of 25,000 light years. But once the others follow suit, this galaxy will be quite devoid of life. Or at least any life with sufficient biomass to sustain the Flood. But you already knew that. I mean, how couldn't you? We have followed outbreak containment procedure to the letter. You were with me each step of the way as we managed this crisis.
Chief, I'm picking up movement.
Why would you hesitate to do what you've already done?
We need to go, right now.
Last time you asked me, if it were my choice, would I do it? Having had considerable time to ponder your query, my answer has not changed. There is no choice. We must activate the ring.
Get us out of here.
If you are unwilling to help, I will simply find another. Still, I must have the Index. Give your construct to me, or I will be forced to take her from you.
That's not going to happen.
So be it. Save his head. Dispose of the rest.
Look out!
And finally, X70. Confusingly, although labeled as a single scene, this is in fact 3 separate cutscenes that play out over the course of the final level, the Maw. The first of these cutscenes is actually not the Chief and Cortana's arrival at the Autumn's wreck. Instead, it's the scene triggered by entering the ship's bridge. Things start fairly similar to how we know them, but they pretty quickly begin to diverge. You'll see what I mean.
The bridge. We made it. Let's get to work. I leave home for a few days and look what happens. This won't take long. There. That should give us enough time to make it to a lifeboat and put some distance between ourselves and Halo before the detonation.
I'm afraid that's out of the question, really.
Oh, hell.
Ridiculous! That you would imbue a warship's AI with such a wealth of knowledge? Weren't you worried it might be captured? Or destroyed?
He's in my data arrays, a local tab.
You can't imagine how exciting this is! To have a record of all of our lost time! Human history, is it? Fascinating. Oh, how I will enjoy every moment of its categorization! To think that you would destroy this installation as well as this record! I am shocked. Almost too shocked for words.
He stopped the self-destruct sequence.
Why do you continue to fight us, Reclaimer? You cannot win! Give us the construct, and I will endeavor to make your death relatively painless, and...
At least I still have control over the comm channels.
Where is he?
I'm detecting taps throughout the ship. Sentinels, most likely. As for the monitor...
Okay, so in this version, the monitor doesn't move to engineering to take the core offline. He's simply chilling in cryo, pun intended, and canoodling with the pods there for some reason. The Chief is now heading to the cryo chamber to destroy the monitor, which will reinitiate the self-destruct sequence Cortana started. What follows is almost certainly a boss fight with the monitor.
Direct your fire elsewhere.
Lending credence to this idea, in the final version of the game, you briefly pass through Cryo B on your journey to engineering, and despite it ostensibly being the same room in which you woke up, the chamber has inexplicably changed its layout to resemble an arena. This would make a lot more sense if you actually fought a major enemy here. Also, despite Guilty Spark not interacting with the player at all in their final encounter, many of his lines seem to be holdovers from this original boss fight.
Why do you continue to resist us, Reclaimer? Your behavior is not in keeping with established protocols. Your behavior necessitates repair and revision. Effecting repair sequence now. Revision and repair protocols continuing. Please wait for update. Surrender the construct to me, or I will be forced to take you offline permanently. Not acceptable, Reclaimer. You must surrender the construct. Do you require medical attention?
The following cutscene takes place after this battle, with the Master Chief having successfully destroyed the monitor.
One. What climate béo hiu.
I wasn't sure what Chief's badass one-liner should have been at the end there, so you can take your pick from these options. So, apparently the Pillar of Autumn self-destruct sequence in this version functions similar to its launch sequence in Halo Reach.
This is Captain Keyes of the Pillar of Autumn. We are tracking you, Noble, and we've begun our launch sequence. Proceed to dry dock, platform D. I'll be on it myself to receive the package.
We'll be there, sir.
Better be, soldier, because my countdown is no abort.
Unable to abort the countdown, the Master Chief must now retrieve Cortana and escape the ring before the cruiser goes supernova. And while in the final game the duo escape via longsword, in this version they stick with Cortana's original plan.
There. That should give us enough time to make it to a lifeboat and put some distance between ourselves and Halo before the detonation.
They're escaping aboard a lifeboat.
There's one last lifeboat. Quickly, get aboard before it launches!
Yeah, just forget she said that. So, in this version of the ending, you don't frag blast the vent core, nor is there a Warthog run. Instead, your final mission is to leave Cryo, retrieve Cortana from the bridge, and then escape via lifeboat. Sound familiar? It's the first mission again! Except this time, you've got the additional concerns of the Flood, Sentinels, and a doomsday clock ticking down the seconds to Armageddon. It's kinda poetic. Anyway, here's the final boarded cutscene, to be played when the player retrieves Cortana from the bridge and arrives at a lifeboat.
We're cutting it close!
Here we go.
Shut them down, we'll need them later. Fancy a look?
Did anyone else make it?
Scanning. Just dust and echoes. We're all that's left. We did what we had to do for Earth. An entire Covenant armada obliterated, and the Flood. We had no choice. Halo, it's finished.
No. I think we're just getting started.
And there you have it! The original Halo's cutscenes turned animatic. I'd like to make similar videos for the cutscenes of Halos 2 and 3, but unfortunately only a handful of their storyboards exist online. So if you're a current or former Bungie employee who has access to these storyboards, can ya release them? Or something? I think it's fine. Lee Wilson, if you're the guy who made these, can you release more, please? I would really love to see them. Also, the original Halo Combat Evolved script, if you have it. I could amend my animatic with accurate dialogue. Maybe voice it. I don't know. And while we're at it, how about the original Halo 2 script, too?
This is 160 pages worth of cinematics.
Also, a unicorn. Might as well tack that onto my wish list of impossible things. If you're interested in viewing the storyboards for yourself, I have a link in the description where you can download the files listed in the proper order. I also have time codes for each of the cutscenes down there too. I probably should have mentioned that up top, but I didn't want you to miss my excellent Guilty Spark caveman drawings. You know what, I'll add a time code for the Guilty Spark caveman drawings too, that way you can enjoy them anytime you like, you know. Just view them and cry. And that's it. There's nothing more to say. I guess smash that like button. Subscribe to me. Make sure to ring that little bell, that little cowbell. And now I need to like condescendingly tell you that the bell, it just makes sure you're notified, as if you don't already hear that from every single other YouTuber. Wow, I don't know where this is coming from. I was perfectly happy 2 seconds ago, and now all of a sudden I think I'm just tired. I should probably stop animating myself.